A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us here on another magnificent Monday's edition of Talk Today as we invite you to be a part of a discussion. And guess what? Why not start it off with some open line? 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Want a prize for the first caller, the first time caller? Well, maybe we'll do that. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. 949-8037 or toll free with the kind compliments of Flow at 1-800-534-8255. Hey, thanks to Kathy and Ray, our colleagues here who really came on. Taking time away from their excellent sales, responsibilities and filling in while I took a little time away from the desk, not necessarily off work. And hopefully out of sight, but not out of mind. So that's because you don't see me. Hope you didn't forget me. Show me some love. Let us show you some love in return. We'd like to give you a couple of things. If you don't mind, in the spirit of giving and Thanksgiving, and we have Christmas, and as I hear, this year has been the longest century ever. It feels like it's just dragging on. So we want to say thanks to you. The first caller, we're going to give you a ticket. All right, compliments of the Cayman Islands Seafarers Association. Please, if you haven't got a chance to get one, buy and support. So the first caller, we're going to give you a ticket. But let's go to the phones. Good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling. Hello, good afternoon. All right, I know. Hey, good afternoon. Just give me 1 second. We'll find it. The buttons are there. We just need to press a little harder. Maybe we'll see what happens. If you want to talk to us, we'll give the first caller. And what we would like to do, if you don't mind, that person who has not called before, the first time caller to the show, we're going to give you a gift certificate, compliments of reflections. They advertise heavily with us. Their account rep, Miss Kathy, does an exceptional job, as she does for all her clients, as all of our account reps do for all of our advertisers, and we give you the widest listening audience, so we thank you for advertising with us. Now, the first time caller, you've never called before, I'm going to give you a gift certificate, compliments of reflections, food for less. And of course, the very first caller, well, I'm going to give you a ticket, part of the raffle draw, compliments of the Cayman Islands Seafarers Association. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, please continue to support them. They do great work. So you happen to be the first caller and who's also the first time caller, where you get a double bonus. But let's see what the probability of that is. Susan's going to put it in her supercomputer and then tell me what the odds are. But I'm just going to listen. In the meantime, though, it's going to open line. We want you to share with us. So we've heard a lot of interesting things happening. And before we put it out there, well, maybe we'll give you a chance to share with us, what our poem Susan says. I say, you say, I say, but I say that you say. How it goes, Susan? Come on, talk to us. Man. She forgot, she said. You imagine, the poet. Anyway, that's how it goes. But I say, I hear someone say, you say, but I say, but if you say, I say, and I say, that's how I say it go. All right, 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Listen, It's a challenging day at times, and we got to put a good foot forward and try all those things aren't as if they were. Let's go to the phones and try it again, see if we can get it to work. It's the end of the month, first day of the week. Maybe all the bills are paid, but maybe not. Hey, good afternoon, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hi, Mr. Sterling. Welcome back.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. I miss you.
Oh, hey, thank you. So you and my mommy both. Well, I tell you why. Somebody love me. I trust that all is well with you, man. And thanks for keeping my company.
Oh, definitely. All the time.
All the time, man. And if I may, it's partly because I believe we've been challenged. There's much trial and tribulations, a lot of struggles that we all face. And if there's anything that you want to say to our people, words of encouragement, words of caution, words of admission, whatever, anything at all you want to share with the listeners?
Oh, yes, definitely. This year been a challenging year for us. As the old people say, it's a leap year, but it's been a very challenging one. But as I say, more prayer, more power. And we just have to give God thanks every day we wake up to be in a better place like Cayman. And let us keep it like that.
Amen.
And give God the glory.
Amen. Well, we would like to not only show our love and appreciation, Sarah, thanks to you for calling and sharing. So, could we offer you up with that ticket? Compliments to the Cayman Islands Seafarers Association. Their draw is coming up on the weekend, and we're just glad to support them and thank everybody for being a part of their continued success. So, have just stay on the line and have Miss Susan take your details, and we'll have the ticket for you tomorrow. I think I may still have on my desk, but yeah, we'll have it for you tomorrow at the studio. Would that be fine?
Thank you.
You're most welcome, and congratulations, and thanks again.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye. And to our listeners, it's about not, only appreciating who you are and what you have and where you are, but if you wish to take issue with this, please go right ahead. It's supposedly a free and fair society, a healthy democracy, that we can dialogue and debate, we can have a discussion and even dissension. But if you don't agree with it, fair enough. If you do, likewise, share. But it's about accepting our responsibility. We would often hear, and even ourselves repeat, to whom much is given, much is required. Well, in this society, if we call this home, this is where we live and work and make our bread and butter, maybe it's incumbent upon us, it's imperative that each and every single one of us do our very best with the greatest of respect, whether we, hold the highest office in the land, or whether we are just coming to the shores and taking extended sort of hiatus. If this is where we are, what are we doing to improve it? And it could be, some would say it's simple. For me, it's significant. It could be just taking the garbage, the food container or whatever it is that you have, and putting it in its proper place, whether it's to be recycled. We only have limited quantities thus far to be recycled. 1 and 2 for the plastics, the metal, aluminums and the like, the paper and the glass. So it can't be that difficult. Other jurisdictions increasingly have much greater resource that they can recycle much more, but we're getting there. So it could be doing that, or it could be reaching out and making sure that we're not adding any more, hardship and headaches and hassles and putting in impediments and obstacles in the lives of others. So little things to some, I think, are significant. So this is where we are, where we want to be. Let's make it better. All right. We still want to say thanks and show our love and appreciation. And to that first-time caller, we would like compliments or reflections, food for less, give you a gift certificate. It would be, our honor to do so. Just to say thanks. There's no strings attached. They always say there's no such thing as a free lunch, and that's probably true. But in this case, we don't have any hidden agendas. We don't have any ulterior motives. In the spirit of giving and thanksgiving, we're getting into Christmas, recognizing that this year has been most challenging for almost every single one of us. For some, for whom they've seen significant financial windfalls, they may have been challenged as to how they're going to invest that extra and excess cash, or taking on the added headaches of what additional security measures they might have to put in place. So you see, not everything that you look at you have to believe is all, what I say, glitters is gold. Well, give us a shout out and share with us your thoughts. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. 1 o'clock, get a chance to talk to our friends from the National Drug Council. They have their annual, Arrive Alive campaign, and hopefully this is something that we can do every day, all day long, recognizing the importance that it's probably better to, be above ground than not. And as our friend would say, many of us talk about, well, today's a bad day. If you think it's bad, try missing one. Maybe that's even worse, huh? But with that in mind, we do appreciate that there are many of us, especially this time of year, who feel pain and suffering of that loved one who is no longer with us. So we keep them in our prayers, but also we hopefully will physically and spiritually and otherwise reach out with loving support. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Let's go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, friend. How are you doing?
Blessed and thankful. How about yourself?
I'm good so far, man. I'm calling in for the first time.
Well, thank you very much, man. I hope that you've been listening in the past.
I've been listening. I've been a great listener.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Now, a couple of things. Certainly, off the bat, I want to say thanks for calling, taking up our offer. And we want to, reward you with what we think is just the generosity of some of our merchants, the Pantons over at Reflections Food for Less. Allow us to say thanks if we can do that. Could I then ask you a couple of things first off?
Yes.
What's on your mind? I mean, what would you like to say if you had the opportunity to say it? And let's pretend just to us. Talk to me.
I would love to see a proper TV station set up, because a lot of people can't afford to even buy DVD to play movie and listen to the news to what's going on around the island. That's my problem.
Okay. So a proper TV station, how would you see that as working here? I mean,
I would love to see when an individual leave work and go home, then he can relax, listen to what's going on around the island.
So just for...
Like, for instance, the storm get out of control, and you want to know what's going on at East End, and you're not living at East End. You just bam to the news and hear what's happening. That's what I would love to see.
Okay, fair enough. And then what would it cost? I mean, is that something that would be like a free over-the-air channel? Would it be part of a package that you have to have some sort of wired or wireless network into your house? I mean, how would it work for you in your mind?
Yes.
The best
I would love to see whenever I go home, you turn on the TV like it used to be. You just have an antenna on the TV, turn it on, you pick up what's going on, the news, whatever. That's what I would love.
Okay. Well, I think, we have the maybe the genesis of it within the CIG TV. Perhaps if what I'm hearing, I can draw an inference in saying that maybe a more community-based approach to information and not so much propaganda, but accurate, timely information that is shared, perhaps more freely, perhaps less costly and easier to access. So as a people, whether on the Brack, Little Cayman or here in Grand Cayman, we can get it to know what's going on.
Yes, man.
Okay.
That would be a proper thing.
All right. But then we have Radio Cayman, which provides that likewise. But you want the imaging in the video as well.
If I go home right now, I'm plugging my TV. I don't get anything.
Yeah,
I don't get anything.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Well, maybe that's something that will come in short order. But then again, are we going to measure it properly so that what we're getting from this one, monster is only one way that we make sure it's accurate, right?
Well,
all right.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, man. I believe it soon come. Well, thank you for listening as you have been, and thank you for letting us have a chat with you. And if you would, please give your information to Miss Susan. Don't hang up, not hang up, right? Just stay on the line, do not hang up, and she'll take your details, and we'll call you.
No problem.
All right.
No problem.
Thanks again, sir.
Have a great day, sir.
You too. Have a blessed week as well, man.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to pause quickly in a second, take a break. When we come back, we'll continue with some open line. Let me put a couple of things on the table for you. First thing, what would you like to see? The gentleman just shared his thoughts. Perhaps you would like to share yours with us as well. It could be anything. It could be everything. It could be something that has been, echoed for many, many times, but just seems to be unheard or no one yet is acting on it. Or it could be something completely novel. Well, let's pause and take a break. And when you come back, 949-8037 or that toll-free line at 1-800-534-8255.
At KFC, we believe you don't have to share a last name to be a family. Whether it's an office party, holiday fete, or family gathering, enjoy KFC's fresh, hand-breaded finger-lickin' good chicken. The KFC Festive Feast includes 10 pieces of original recipe or spicy chicken, creamy mashed potatoes, tasty coleslaw, and warm biscuits. KFC's holiday catering menu includes buckets of hot wings, sweet chili wings, or chicken tenders. KFC, it's finger-lickin' good.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Are you currently a member and interested in the management of your pension plan? If so, consider becoming a volunteer trustee. Becoming a trustee is a great way to play an integral role in the governance of your pension plan. If you'd like to learn more, email pensions@chamberpension.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
Are you ready to kick off the holiday season? I am. You are invited to our exclusive Loyalty VIP event on Saturday, December 12th at Penha on 40 Cardinal Avenue in Georgetown. There will be live entertainment, drinks and bites. Plus, you earn double points when you sign up for the Penha Loyalty Card. And don't forget, you will get a chance to enter the raffle to win great prizes valued a total of $5,000. Penha, 40 Cardinal Avenue in Georgetown.
Tune in tonight to Radio Cayman's 89.9 FM at 7 p.m. for a special National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving message. Brought to you by the Ministers Association and combined with churches from the community.
It's a celebration under the stars with Christmas at the Castle. Sunday, December 6th at Peter St. James. Celebrate with Christmas carols, a tree lighting, and get your photo taken with Santa. Starting at 6 p.m., enjoy local food, shop at the Christmas market, and share the magic with something special from Coca-Cola. Admission is free. Christmas at the Castle, Sunday, December 6th from 6 until 9 p.m. at Peter St. James. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors and the Ministry of Culture.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. It's going to be some open line until 1 p.m. So you can call and share your thoughts with us. Thanks to those other callers for being a part of our sort of appreciation and thanks and giving and all of the other things to show love for our listeners. It's a beautiful country. It's a wonderful community. Yes, there are many of us who have many reasons, justifiable reasons to be concerned and to complain. But let's see if we can add something of a positive contribution. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. It's good to be sort of, away from the desk, so to speak, not on the air all the time. If you don't mind me saying, I did miss, being here. It kind of grows on you, I guess, in a sense. But thank you all very much for the continued love and support that you've shown, and reminds me of the many blessings. So I am indeed blessed, and hopefully I can be a blessing as well. Well, when the callers, the gentleman that called earlier, what he would like to see. What about you? What would you like to see? Maybe for today and today only. Maybe for today and continuing throughout the rest of the year. Maybe it's going forward, for a day and forever. What is it that you think is missing? What do you think it is that we need more of? We have it, but we don't have enough of it. Or what is it that just, you want to see? You want to see it. Yeah. Some would say world peace. Others say, let's feed the hungry and shelter the homeless and, clothe the others. And some would say, well, just give me peace. Well, 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yes, good afternoon too. I'm just your people doing a wonderful job, and I heard you saying what could help the Cayman Islands would like to see. I would like to see a trade school in the Cayman Islands so the young Caymanians that don't have anything to do, they could go to that trade school and learn something. So that would be wonderful because I'm looking at the east side where the quarry is, and there's a lot of land over there that the government could use up, and all these young children that is on the road have nothing to do. They could go there, build a trade school so they could go learn hairdressing, carpentry, mechanics, something. Who cannot afford to go away.
Yeah,
and that would help the island.
Excellent idea. Excellent idea. Well, we've been talking about it for the longest of time, so maybe we'll find a way to make it happen that it doesn't cost $100 million, huh?
That's right.
Well, thank you. Anything else you want to share?
Not right now. I'm just saying you people do wonderful work. Keep up the good works, and God bless. And
Amen.
we are in Cayman Islands where we are safe from COVID-19, and we're happy for that.
Yeah, well, thank God for His mercies, huh?
We don't have to encounter with those stuff.
Amen. All right.
God bless.
God bless. Thanks, too. Thank you for that call. Let's try the other line. Welcome. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon.
Hey, been a while, man. How are you?
I'm all right. Boy, you're gone for long.
Boy, not as long as I had planned, you know. But I mean, it could be worse, you know. It could be like some of the politicians, they're not gone, but they're forgotten, they're not gone. I mean, I just not sure.
They bring one pretty lady, but she doing a good job, you know. But she cut me one time because Izzat Miller, she related to Izzat Miller. I was speaking about him.
No. She may have a similar last name, but no relation.
I know.
I know you know, man.
Joking, you know.
I know. But I was gonna make sure, you know.
Ladies can't do me anything because as much they beautiful, it's okay.
Yeah. Well, you must be a different guy then. Okay. All right. But
Anyway, all I want to some issues I want to put out. Number one, the issue of those people in quarantine. I think, Dwayne, you know, it is very dangerous in this stage to allow people to come here and they quarantine at the house and then they broke the quarantine. And this has happened many times. And it is danger for the society. We are doing very great in the terms of protecting the government did a great job. The health officials, you know, we can't say they did a bad job. And we need to continue doing a good job because my concern, this is the same thing happened in my country. In my country, we reached to the stage similar to Cayman, where we have 0 cases of COVID-19 for a couple, 2 months. And then they open the airport, they allow people to come in, and then we have a high percentage of death, high percentage of people who have COVID-19. The number jumped by thousands in a short period of time. And now they come back, close the border, and they do in quarantine again to fix the situation, which is a lot of people lost their life. And I'm afraid the same thing, God forbid, to happen in Cayman. And we need to be careful with those people are coming here because they are careless. They don't care about the people of this country. The second issue about the Cuban, they escaped from the island. So I want to ask this question here to the custom, you know, border control, and to the, you know, police in general. You know, how those people could leave the island, a big group of people, in bright day, they thief a boat. This country feed them. This country clothe them. This country did give them food, everything, place to live, because they are refugees, and because this country respects human rights and the humans. And then those people disrespect this country, and they go run away from this country and they go into wherever they reach. My question to the Attorney General here, the police department, why they don't press charges against those people and ask to bring them back by the Interpol police, the International Police Organization, bring them back as they bring others before. You know, people commit crime and Cayman Islands bring them back from Sweden, from other countries. Those people need to be brought here, put to jail, and then sent back to Cuba, where they come from, because they commit a crime in this island. And they can't be, the person helped them, this island need to know, because this has happened many times. And should be somebody know who is helping those people. That is a human trafficking. And I know from my information that in a neighboring country, a big country embassy are investigating this situation. There is an investigation from that embassy about the human trafficking from Cayman Islands to other countries and why those people are moving through here, who's smuggling them, and there are investigation. Maybe the police even don't know that there is investigation by this embassy. But I know there is investigation because I am sure from this information.
Right. But see, that's the thing too. I mean, as I listen to just generally speaking, sometimes international cooperation, not necessarily speaking to this particular instance that you referenced, but whether it's through policing initiatives or whether it's just cooperation, by NGOs and the like, maybe that lack of intercoordination is lacking sometimes in exchange of information. But we even see that right within our own communities.
Yes.
So, well, how do we get to a point though where people who are living in a particular country can enjoy what supposedly are their freedoms and that the democracies should have? I mean, even now, we're seeing some of the larger countries under the guise of health initiatives, freedoms are being restricted, and some are suggesting that they may be extreme. Others are saying that they're not sufficiently strenuous enough to ensure a greater protection. So how do we get to a place where we have this level of dialogue that is still responsible and respectful and seeking the best outcomes?
I think we need to, you remember in the detention center before, immigration detention center, they escaped, and then they escaped this time. So then who is protecting our border? Why we have marine units? Why we don't see those marine units patrol the water of this country?
So if I could then ask you then, based on that, then your perspective, and I recognize we have the break going in a second, but given that we're going to put in place a military, we call it a regiment, but so much time it's just a military in a word by another word. So instead of deploying resources for that land-based sort of entity, would it be better for the country's border security and the protection of us as we go out to sea, just generally, to expand the water-based activity, the Coast Guard that we've put in play? Would it not be more effective, cost-effective, more efficient, much better use of limited resources to expand that capacity?
Yeah, I think the marine unit in the they should have guns. They should have machine guns.
But
and
why?
Go in the sea to protect this country from.
Maybe we should give them submarines and torpedoes. Yeah.
If somebody can jump and go in a boat and leave the country anytime he feel like, then there is somebody else will come to this island. Suppose somebody who is a terrorist jump in a boat and come to this island.
Okay, so let me ask you in reverse then, right? If somebody can, anytime he or she feels like, can jump on a computer, type in a couple of things and put it all over the space, and immediately has cast aspersions on the country and its people, I mean, that person could be a terrorist as well.
Yeah, I think the word is wide, to be somebody who is a criminal, do whatever criminal stuff. We see what happened other countries. We don't want to see that to happen in Cayman. We need to see that the border being controlled properly in this country. We don't see that yet. We see, yes, they have boats, they run in the sea, but suppose those people smuggling drugs, smuggling people have guns. How those officers will protect themselves? We need a discussion about this in this country. We have the army, yes, that's a good step to have to protect this country, to protect the border of this country. We need to see improvement in the police patrolling to our street. We have 400 or 600 police, I think.
No, man, it's, like more like 5,000 or 50,000. I mean, I'm pretty sure is more than that. It's probably too many.
We don't see, hardly you see a police officer in the street.
Seriously? I see them all the time, man.
In Georgetown Police Station or in Bodentown Police Station, you see every room have 6 offices. People are sitting in office doing what they are doing.
Yeah, man. All right, listen. I don't want to be rude to you, but let's call it that for now. We pick it up another time. I just get back, boy, and Susan's like, you already taking license. We got a quick break. We'll chat with you sometime some more. Join us after the break.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000. As the community continues to take precautions from COVID-19 and get ready for the hurricane season, it is important to also protect our environment, which ultimately helps us live healthier, happier lives. Let's always remember proper disposal of masks and other PPE, as with your normal garbage. Avoid littering and do not include any trash in your recycling. Protect yourselves and keep our islands clean. For full guidance, visit www.deh.gov.ky.
We give you honor and praise, adoration and glory.
Radio Cable.
Praise time.
Praise him, praise him. Come and let's praise the Lord. Come and let's praise the Lord. Praise him in the morning and in the evening. Oh, let's praise the Lord.
Praise time in the morning.
Praise him, praise him.
Weekdays 6 to 6:30 a.m.
Radio Cayman, waking you up.
Rock my soul in the blues of my favorite. Rock my soul in the blues of my favorite.
Praise time.
I know he cares. He'll always be there. Oh, yeah. Praise him, praise him, praise him.
Praise time.
Set your clock for 6 a.m. or you will miss it.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Just a quick reminder, 1 p.m. right after our headline news, we're going to have a discussion with our friends over at the National Drug Council. So I want you to be a part of it. In the meantime, though, let's have some more open line. 949-837, 1-800-534-8255. maybe I'll find a way between now and the show closes, if I can, to perhaps show a little more love to our listeners, either by offering up a ticket, compliments to the Cayman Islands Seafarers Association. I've, like many of you, or probably like most of us, the healthiest respect for the seafarers. Their sacrifice then and now, their continued service commitment to our country then and now. It's a great example, but it also, indicates that we can always continue to make a positive, meaningful contribution to our society. So whether they're funding education through scholarships to physicians to continue their studies, whether they're buying medical equipment for the health services, or whether they're giving out financial, contributions and assistance where needed. So we help them, they continue to help build our society, as they've been doing, for centuries. A strong seafaring heritage, something that we have in our veins. And if you don't really take it to heart, think within your own families or those that you know, where a grandchild or a great-grandchild has been birthed and now lives elsewhere. You ever see how they tend to gravitate towards the sea, even if it's just a lake or a pond, miles away from where they may live? They tend to have, salt water in their veins, as it were. Well, we want to say thanks and ask you to support them. They have a annual raffle coming up. Get a ticket, buy a book, get as much as you can, because their support goes heavily into our community. 949-8037, it's open line, 1-800-534-8255. Or if you want to WhatsApp, well, I can see if Miss Susan will read it for us, 925-3261. Or you can record a voice note, and either way, we'll be happy to share it with our listeners if that's what you choose. And then maybe we can, like we did the first time caller, gave a name a gift certificate, compliments or reflections. Well, maybe we can find some other way to say thanks. Can only have maybe it'll be another first time caller. Hey, why not? Why don't we do that? What do you think, Miss Susan? We've got less than 6 minutes between now and when the show hits the 1 p.m. headline news. If you're a first time caller and you would like us to show our thanks for listening, well, tell you what, in addition to that other first time caller and the Reflections gift certificate, well, why not a caller from Little Cayman? Compliments of our in-house staff. So if you call in from Little Cayman, we're going to give you a special prize. Let me see what that would be. I don't know. A weekend for two getaway in Little Cayman? No. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp as well. Let's go to the phones though. Good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you today?
Not too bad. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was really, really good to be back. When I wouldn't want to say otherwise. I miss you guys. When I miss being here.
Yeah, I miss you too. I can't live without you, so we need to get a clone there for you.
Well, if you start to do that, I got some people who would probably make requests. Can you make him taller, much better looking? Perhaps don't talk as much. I mean, they might start putting their requests.
Wow, Sterling, you back to the chocolate. Coming at time, Christmas time.
Oh,
Sterling, I want to make a sort of sad announcement. I will not be doing my food drive this year, this December.
Oh.
So I just want all of my people out there to know that I will not be doing anything this year. This has been a rough, tough year in air capacity.
Yeah.
And I don't have anything in store. I don't have any gift cards. I don't have any food. I don't have anything at hand. So I'm going to just pass up this December and see what God's willing, what the summer may bring, or the next Christmas. I'm not sure. But right now, can't deal with this. Sterling. Too much going on right now. Too much. Yeah, so
I can imagine.
Just let Alan know that there will be no Ella Foundation giveaway food baskets this year.
And that must be hard for you, and it just shows you how
it is
difficult it is And for all of us, even those of us who try to, put on a good face, as they were, because it's hard. It is hard indeed.
Yeah.
Well, God's willing, someone else will step in the gap, and others will step up even more so, because
Yes.
there's a lot of love in this place.
Yeah, I hope that someone will. I hope they don't miss me. I hope that everybody get their bags full this year and look forward to me sooner or later. Well, welcome back and thanks for letting me say that.
Thank you.
Foundation giveaway this year. Sorry, came on. Sorry.
Yeah, well, you know what? Yes, well, something else will come again.
Go ahead.
All right, something else will come again, man. Sometimes.
All right, yeah.
And thank you too for all that you have not only been doing but continue to do. So thank you very much, right?
Thank you too.
All right,
have a great day.
you
Continue to listen to you.
Amen.
Bye-bye.
Blessings to you. And as the caller highlights, certainly want you to call and share your thoughts. We asked, what was it that you would like to see? I know many of us have been expressing concern that not just locally, not just regionally, but globally, and including, in the U.S., where we, according to the news reports, the millions and millions of people who are now relying on food banks to feed them. That is perhaps a glaring concern to many. Some would probably say, well, the interruption in the food supply because factories have had to either close or they've had to reduce operations. Others will probably add, some other commentary as it, being indicative of the sign of the times and the like. But the bottom line is that there are many people who are facing, a lot of difficult situations ahead, and those countries that people talk about being third world and in abject poverty. But even the industrialized nations are seeing its people in lines for food, and you have to wonder if there's something that we can do to make it better. Well, we have the news coming up, and when we return, we want you to rejoin us as we have a conversation with our friends from the RCIPS and the National Drug Council. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Follow Radio K-Man on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio K-Man.
Today's biggest news.
Radio K-Man.
It's only 2 species that we have here on the island.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio K-Man's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm April Cummings. The Joint Ministerial Council provided a chance to celebrate the, quote, special partnership between the UK and overseas territories. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson joined elected leaders at the Joint Ministerial Council meetings last week as representatives from the overseas territories and the UK held wide-ranging discussions on a number of topics, including economic issues, COVID-19 response and recovery, protecting vulnerable groups, and protecting the environment. A U.S. government watchdog agency says most states are concerned they won't have adequate supplies to administer COVID-19 vaccines, which are expected to start becoming available for high-priority groups in the next few weeks. The Congressional Government Accountability Office said in a report today that 17 states are greatly or completely concerned about having adequate supplies, while another 21 said they were moderately concerned. Scotland's leader said today she hopes to build an independence referendum as soon as next year, setting up a political showdown with a UK government that refuses to countenance another secession vote. First Minister Nicola Sturgeon said she would campaign in the May 2021 Scottish Parliament election for a mandate to hold a vote on independence in the early part of the new Parliament, which will run from 2021 to 2025. Those are your headlines from Radio K-Man's newsroom. I'm April Cummings.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio K-Man on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio K-Man app or log on to our website, radiokman.gov.ky.
Your voice, your choice, your radio.
You know you've dreamed of that Mercedes. The smooth leather, the style. Ooh la la! With the Lions Club of Grand Cayman Benzarama. Now is your chance to make that dream come through. Get your ticket for the Benzarama fundraiser at Lorna's Gas Station in Bodden Town, West Bay Esso, Funky Tanks, and Coast Bar and Grill, as well at Event Pro. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman Benzarama fundraiser supports site screening, Christmas deliveries, restoration, and social services.
The Benzarama drawing will take place December 5th. All Benzarama tickets bought earlier this year are still valid.
Do you remember when 2020 was great?
I don't think it was
2020 vision, not the year.
right.
Make 2020 great again with Optical Outlook, the new West Bay store now open. With their designer frames and sunglasses, eye health has never looked so good. Call 746-2020 and book your eye exam today at Caymanian Village and now at Jake Scott Plaza in West Bay, offering premier eye care in Cayman for over 30 years. Come see the difference with Optical Outlook.
Did you hear about the big giveaway from Clean Cayman?
They used to be J&D Sanitizing. Now I hear they're cleaning everything.
My wife just went online, booked and paid for our cleaning service. Plus, we could win a Kimpton staycation.
What you say? Just like that? Get a sparkling clean house, then go chill at the Kimpton?
Clean Cayman makes it easy. Click, book, pay.
Visit cleancayman.com. Book a residential cleaning service starting from $60 and up and win a free night at the Kimpton Seafire. Terms and conditions apply. Residential online bookings only. Promotion ends December 4th. Book now at cleancayman.com.
More than 100 studies on parent-child relationships have found that having a loving and nurturing father is just as important for a child's happiness, well-being, social, and academic success as having a loving and nurturing mother. Do not undervalue your significance as a father. Your children, this community, and the future needs you. Reach out to the Family Resource Center for parenting support at 949-0006 or frc@gov.ky. They are here to help.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And this almost seems like the discussion that we had not long ago started off with such great laughter. I think it's because of the passion, the commitment that our team around the table has for making sure that we all arrive safe and alive, that we all take seriously our responsibility, but that we can have fun, be jovial, but at the same time be serious and discerning. Honored to welcome to our studio collaborative partnership with the National Drug Council and the Royal Cayman Islands Police Force. Service. Sorry, Ms. Julie. Force Service. Force Service. Okay. And of course, if we don't have the wonderful partnership that exists in our media, how can we ensure accurate, timely information is disseminated? So, for Hurlers Media, the marketing PR manager, Ms. Brady Phillips joins us. So, perhaps in deference, to you, Mr. Miller, and our wonderful police officer, and of course, Ms. Hernandez. Maybe Ms. Phillips, we'll start with you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us.
It's truly is a pleasure. I like the idea that we can have a discussion on the importance of celebrating, but celebrating responsibility and in a responsible way, and celebrating the fact that here we are in this last year, the fiscal century. Despite all that's transpired, whether it was the start of the year with the earthquake, then we had the fire, and then we had whatever else happened. We're here. We can smile. We can give thanks. We can, look with some level of jubilance and exuberance, celebration. So, as the prevention specialist at the National Drug Council, Mr. Simon Miller, maybe good afternoon to you as well.
Pleasant good afternoon, sir. Thank you for having us.
All right. APC Julianne, Powery. I look at sometimes our policing and even me myself. I have a perception of police officers like teachers and nurses amongst all of the other professions as these individuals who are above reproach, who just by their sheer presence and uniform connotates a level of respect and appreciation and civility and responsibility and all those good things. And so as we see that, perhaps our society is still exhibits that level of deference, for the uniformed services. You give us that exemplary sort of character. So thank you.
Thank you, Sterling. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to everyone and the listeners, especially. Thank you for that as well. We do want to have a certain level of respect for authority being all law enforcement officers or all adults in society, depending on the circumstances. But we also want to make sure that we're approachable, and that's why we're here today as well.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
We look at our teachers sometimes that with that smile and just a look at the eye can get the student to do more than the teacher with the strap and the skull. Just depends. But Mr. Lisa, from the notion of coordinating this discussion and the importance that we're going to go through December. For some of us, I love country music. I put that as a disclaimer.
Me too.
There we go. Friends and
let's talk about Charlie Pride. I'm talking about the oldies.
Yeah. Did you hear not Susan on Saturday?
I did not.
You missed it, girl.
I missed it.
She closed it with like Charlie Pride song, but by request. Won't say by whom. Me. No. So that country song, right? If I can only make it through December, right? We know it can be a daunting time of year for many. The extra pressure that we may face because of the financial obligations or the loss and the sadness and all that stuff. And then that may cause some of us to be less than responsible in our endeavors. We try to perhaps deal with something in a manner that is not healthy. So this time of year, when we think about it, we have options.
We definitely have options. The Purple Ribbon Bus and the Designated Driver campaign, before we collaborated with Hurley's Media, we've been, this year we're celebrating our 20th anniversary. So we've been here for a very, very long time, giving options to people who, choose to go out on New Year's Eve and enjoy themselves. And of course, we want to ensure that, they do it responsibly, as you mentioned earlier. And since that, I think people may remember we collaborated with Hurley's Media last year, and we came up with the Arrive Alive 345 campaign, where their Purple Ribbon Pledge, our Designated Driver, and Purple Ribbon Bus campaigns all came together under one nice little cozy home and being offered to the islands, and of course in collaboration with the RCIPS. And we'll get into that a little bit, but we wanted to make sure that the community knows, look, 2020 has been probably the worst year we could say going on in history. Right?
Unless you're a politician and you think about the year you lost.
Because every year, end of the year, you're always like, oh, this year was horrible, let's do our New Year's resolutions for the next year, and next year's going to be better. But you know what? We're all, again, in this together, and we're all trying to do what we do best and enjoying each other's company, whether it be out on the street, on the beach, rather, bringing in the new year, and, having that opportunity to ride with your friends, drink responsibly, designated driver, and then also take the pledge not to drink. So we're definitely really excited to talk about this campaign for this holiday season.
Right. But before I jump back to, PC Julian, perhaps Ms. Phillips, from that perspective, we understand the importance of, control the narrative, flip the script. We hear all these terms and terminology, but the importance of having accurate, timely information, as I referenced earlier, out and about constantly, consistently, with a particular message, so that it's not about propaganda. It's not only about ingraining and conditioning, it's about getting people to appreciate the importance. It's like drills in sports. You want to get better at it, you practice, and that practice, gets you better, just like doing math sums and the like.
Yeah, absolutely. The message is pretty simple. Do your part and don't drink drive. This holiday season, we know that people can get carried away over the holiday season, but we're asking the community to put their foot down on drink driving.
Yeah. Let it be socially something that it's not acceptable.
Absolutely.
And it's not something that it's a second thought. It's just immediate. The 5 of us are out. We already agree, who it is that is going to get us all home safely, and it's not a question.
No, everyone should their family members should return home safely this holiday season.
And to add to that, Sir Sterling, what message are we sending to our young people? Let us send a message this December. Let's make a a conscious decision to send a message that speaks about loudly responsible.
Yeah.
Being responsible.
If I may ask, and please, if I can just say this, Miss Julianne, as the individual, but also as a police officer, guide me so that my question or comment is not in any way disrespectful, inflammatory, but in the perception that many of us have of the police, here is this authority figure and who is there to assist us. So I think way back, when I was young, the dinosaurs were running around and we would have them for pets. The police officer would come up and, come on, young man, let me get you home to your parents, or, here, most of the cases was your husband get you back to your wife and children, and it wasn't anything that was confrontational, neither from the officer to the person or the person to the officer. Societies, and sadly ours as well, kind of get away from that.
Yeah. Well, they said that the only thing that's constant in life is change. And society has been changing. And unfortunately, where it relates to crime and where it relates to law enforcement, the change is an escalation. And so as a service, we have to develop in order to match the demands of the society. But again, and the reason why I am here today and the reason why I'm here every month is to make sure that we still have a relationship with the public, that we still are in a position of trust with the public, and if not, to try to rebuild that trust as best as possible so that we can, in some shape or form, have that community relations where we can be depended on to look after the children in the society, because they are. And the preservation of life is our utmost responsibility.
Okay. With that, Mr. Simon, the examples that we said as parents, but as adults, as very visible, prominent people in our community because of the office we hold, or the uniform, whether we're police officers or whether we work for some, outfit, the people that work for some of the, statutory authorities or some of the monopolies, they wear a uniform, they work for banks, we recognize them. So we're very visible. Yeah. But that example and the impact and, effect on our children.
Yeah, and we oftentimes, we don't stop just for a second to think about that. How are we portraying to those that are coming up behind us, And to your point, even the people who work and wear uniforms and represent certain institutions and organizations and companies, what image are we really portraying? Do we want to portray a society, a country that is irresponsible, or do we want to be a part of saying, listen, okay, well, we know alcohol is legal for people who are 18, but you don't have to. You can take Hurley's Media's pledge, or our pledge, rather, you don't have to consume. Or if you're going to consume, then let's be responsible.
So with that, Mr. Lisa, from that perspective, making it a community sort of owning initiative where it is, I don't want to say by default, it's just what it is, right? We are out and about, and there's no question as to what is happening, and there is no stigma because, well, you're not going to be drinking, or if you drink, even though there's a designated driver, you're only going to have one, or you know your limits, so to speak. For some, we recognize one is too much and 100 is not enough. But that aside, how do we get to that point then where we appreciate that this is the norm and it's just what it is?
I think I'm going to pass that question to Simon. I just think I think I know, right? I think overall it's very important that we take responsibility at the end of the day. We know we're going to head out, on a Friday night, on a whatever night,
Mondays
as well, right? Yeah. But it's important that people do ensure that they have put plans in place in general, to be we always talk about, be the person that people can look up to. Make sure that when you're going out with your kids, whether it's on the beach, and everyone knows we're doing staycations right now because that's all we can do, and we're out on the beach and we're enjoying ourselves. But remember that they're, our teens that are looking up to us and paying attention to what we're doing. If they hear you say, when they become 18, they're going to remember. They hear you say, you know what? I know I want to have a couple today. Let me make sure that mom or cousin or whoever is the designated driver at the end of the day, and and we all get home safe. So it's important that we make a plan, but like I said, I'm going to pass the end part of that question or my answer to Simon.
I think the efforts that we're doing now will eventually get there, where we are a society where you said this will become the norm. This will become the practice. They don't have to wait to December for the Arrive Alive campaign to show up. We're going to practice that year long.
All right. And maybe we can expand more on that too, but we do have a caller joining us as we go to the phones. Let's see. Sorry, I have to kind of mess my hair up by putting on the headset, but let me see if I can fit it. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for calling. Hello, good afternoon.
And good afternoon to you, Jeff. The police officers there, right?
Yeah, with handcuffs and everything. No,
I can just imagine. I'm listening partial to what they're saying in regards to, the peg and the liquor and the young ones drinking and moderation and all that kind of stuff. They're on there now and then talking about it, and then you're going to have the proper ribbon comes on after these are just round to talk about free ride home if you go out and need a ride home after you felt we had so much to drink and you can't drive, or you don't want to drive, you got some destination driver to take you home. So what I can't understand is with this, where are the police talking about our youngsters, talking about liquor, and looking out for the best interests of especially the young people, and then we got a blue ribbon going to come and talk about what they're going to offer those for the new year to get home safely after out partying. Well, let me tell you that in God, truth, and officers, while you're all there listening to me, I've always found ignorant and stupid. But, we're such a small island and so many liquor stores, and we got 18-year-olds going to the liquor store purchasing liquor for the 15-year-old friend or the 12-year-old friend, regardless of us trying not to let them get involved in liquor. But they do get involved in liquor at some point in time. And I just wonder, when are we going to put a gap in towards our young children to show them that we do not have to grow up drinking to get where we want to go and become stupid and get in fights and in trouble. And the opening liquor store every 6 months, there's 2 and 3 new stores are opening. We got just as many liquor stores as we got churches on this island. Let me give you one short, quick story. When I was living in Tampa, I went to church with my sister-in-law. And when we came to the church, everybody walked out to this building right next to the church. I didn't pay the building no mind. So I said to my sister-in-law, where is everybody going over there? She said, Jan, that's a liquor store. I said, excuse me? We just came out of church and they're going out to the liquor store now. We got the same thing happening here that came out we didn't have years ago. Walking from the church store to the liquor store. We're going to put this liquor in control one way or the other. If somebody making something, that and cigarettes. We're talking about wanting to make ganja legal in the Cayman Islands. And I can guarantee you, one day it probably will come legal. But I just want to say, guys, we need to show our children some more responsibility and make them know it's not all about drinking and smoking here in the Cayman. I need to focus on the education.
Right.
I leave you guys with that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, man. And I think the caller's point in a sense that as we look at the potential intoxicated state of people and maybe surrounding festivities, or whether the drug of choice is alcohol or some other drug, we don't want to be positioned that we're behind the wheel of a vehicle, putting ourselves and others at risk because we're intoxicated, we're drugged up, if I can use, is that a phrase I can use, for some reason. Ms. Phillips, from that perspective though, the idea that we're making this an emphasis this time of year for obvious reasons eventually could spill in that it's a daily campaign every month, month in and month out. We make that message and we make it become consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really important. And at Hurley's Media, we are, dedicated to, campaigns that support the community. And we do a few campaigns around safety on the roads, and we use our powerful channels of communication to really drive these messages so we can reach as many people as possible.
Then, if I may ask, then, not only through the sort of the social media channels that the NDC or the RCIPS would use, but how much that, how effective, and is there a way that we can measure to see that this messaging, in that sense, we look at the PSAs that Radio Cayman have always offered, are we still getting to that target audience? And some would say, well, geez, don't we know that by now that we shouldn't do this thing? But it seems to be difficult. While you mull that over, I think Ms. Susan shares that we have another caller join the conversation. And let's go to our phones. For those that are listening, we're talking about the Arrival at 345 campaign, jointly sponsored by the National Drug Council in partnership with the RCIPS. We have our media representatives, So let's go to the phones. Good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello, good afternoon. Speaking about the drunk driving and taking the purple ribbon bus or whatever it is you're calling it, you know what you need to do? Tell these people to stop selling liquor. Tell those people on liquor licensing board to stop granting all these liquor licenses every 2 feet, look like it must be. It's everywhere in Georgetown. It's surrounded, must be at least by 100 liquor licenses. That is unnecessary. You know what I say when these people get in accidents? You know who they should charge? The people that grant a license to them. That's who they should charge. It's a shame and disgrace the way they have turned Grand Cayman into a banana republic with all these liquor licenses and all these old tobacco products and cigarettes that they're selling. I wrote the chief medical officer, I think you call him, Dr. Lee, and Minister Seymour about that, about all this, to ban the importation of cigarettes and any tobacco products into the Cayman Islands, because that is just as bad and worse than liquor in certain respects, because it is killing people with cancer, ruining their lungs, their respiratory system, and everything else. CVS Pharmacy in the United States have stopped selling cigarettes and tobacco products over 5 years ago. And what they have done with the money they would have made from selling those products is paying to rehabilitate these people that used to smoke and use tobacco products, to keep them away from that thing, to save their lives. And you would tell me, as small as Grand Cayman is, we cannot do something like that too?
I hear your challenges, and maybe that's when that's sort of the social norm changes and our approach. Just like it may be incremental, but just like we've seen smoking, for instance, no longer indoors, whether in our homes or offices, on our airplanes or restaurants and the like. So I hear your concerns. Thanks very much for sharing, though.
But I told them, I said if they could, they had enough guts to finally stop them from smoking inside the buildings and on the aircraft. Thank Jesus Christ for that, because that was the most disgusting thing in this world. They can stop it, the importation of it in the islands, from killing over people. And they need to ban all of these liquor license places. No more liquor license. You should have me on the board. I should have a lot to back me. It's fine.
Yes, well,
thank you.
Thank you too. Well, there are those families and communities where the consumption is prohibited. But the reality, with great respect, is that some of us maybe only at Christmas or on special occasions, weddings and the like. So how do we get to a point now where we one, appreciate a responsible sort of action on our part, and two, we're aware that if this is where we find ourselves, that we beforehand make that plan. We know the bus will be available. Is it only on the 31st of December, New Year's Eve, that the bus will be available?
Yes.
So the little bus go around and around.
Yeah.
That one?
I
Okay.
mean, last year when we came, I did say I would love for the people in the community, or companies or corporations in the community, to support this, where we can actually have this year round, or some way where we can, have it available, where there are events that are taking place that they say, hey, you know what, let's call NDC and Hurley's Media and let's see if we can get a proper ribbon bus to drive some of these people to and from locations or however, but no one's reached out yet. So until we start to get that conversation out there, and we are right now, and I appreciate the callers that are coming in, I think it's important that we also start from the message at home. It's important that our children, who see us as adults, their parents or whoever, we embed that idea in their head that it is at their age not something that they should be doing. And while they see mom and dad and cousin and guardian, whoever, this is why we're doing it responsibly. At the end of the day, we can't necessarily say don't drink at all. But we'd like you to not drink at all if that is possible. But if you do choose to take an alcoholic beverage, these are the opportunities that you have. There's an opportunity there where you can actually designate a driver. We have hundreds of restaurants who are coming on board this year, and every year we have in the past, where they'll give you a key ring. I'm not sure if the camera can see this, but they'll give you a key ring like this when you say, I'm the designated driver, and you're able to get free non-alcoholic beverages for the evening, or for the day or wherever it is that you're at. And every time that you present this, then they know, that's who you are. You're that, the designated driver. And again, yes, we're running the Purple Ribbon Bus on the 31st of December. And we and Hurley's Media have ensured that this year we're going to make it a little bit more obvious. I know last year we had some advice from the community, and so we're going to try our best this year again to ensure that people can see where we're at. We're servicing from all the districts on Grand Cayman. We're servicing all the districts in Kimmerbrook as well. So we're definitely not leaving out anyone, we hope. So they can find the routes on our website in the coming days and on Hurley's Media as well in the coming days.
Well, I think once we come back from this short break, maybe we can talk about it, perhaps the visibility, but also the responsibility on our part as well. We complain sometimes of big government doing this, but if we don't take up the mantle and do for ourselves, then that void has to be filled somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. Well, if you want to be part of a discussion as we talk about the Arrive Alive 345 campaign, 949-837, 1-800-534-8255. If you're bringing us lunch, I want stew turtle. Mm-hmm. Sir Simon, what do you feel for?
Have the same thing, sir.
Thank
you very much.
But I want to see pie and some breadfruit. The ladies can fend for themselves. We don't know what they want. All right, let's pause and take a break. When we come back, more talk today.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Puritan Cleaners.
By popular demand to serve our valued customers, Puritan Cleaners has revised its schedule for all 3 locations effective immediately. Monday to Saturdays, Eastern Avenue from 7:30 a.m. until 5:30 p.m. Elgin Avenue from 8 a.m. until 5:30 p.m. Savannah Countryside 10 a.m. until 5:30 p.m. Your orders may be transferred to any other Puritan store to suit your working and shopping needs. Let us help you to be ready for those special events coming up. Call 949-7104. Puritan Cleaners, you feel good when you look good.
Fidelity Bank would like to thank all essential workers. We salute your efforts and thank you for the sacrifices you've made to keep us all safe. During these challenging times we're facing, our top priority is the health and safety of the communities we serve. And while it's true that things are changing rapidly every day, one thing that will never change is our commitment to giving you the best and sound financial solutions to help you during and after the coronavirus pandemic. At Fidelity Bank, our focus will always be you. Fidelity, we're good for you.
It's a celebration under the stars with Christmas at the Castle, Sunday, December 6th at Peter St. James. Celebrate with Christmas carols, a tree lighting, and get your photo taken with Santa. Starting at 6 p.m., enjoy local food, shop at the Christmas market, and share the magic with something special from Coca-Cola. Admission is free. Christmas at the Castle, Sunday, December 6th from 6 until 9 p.m. at Peter St. James. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors and the Ministry of Culture.
The New Self-Help Community Foundation presents the 19th Annual Talent Exposition of the Arts with their first ever virtual concert. Get your tickets now at eventpro.ky. Streaming live on December 13th. You don't want to miss this. With performances by Erica Asai, Caitlin Tyson, Miss Universe 2018, Rico Rolando, Terry Williams, UCCI dancers, Lloyd Barker, Rita Estevanovich, Dream Chasers K-Man, Mariah Padwa, Shantae Ramoon, Duncan Anderson, K-Man Music School, Soraya Anglin, Centerpoint Dance Company, Richie T, JC Patrick, Miss World K-Man, and more. The Talent Exposition of the Arts, first ever virtual concert, broadcasting live December 13th. Get your tickets today at eventpro.ky.
At Attention Caymanians, the registration deadline for the 2021 elections is January 4th. Caymanians turning 18 on or before the May 26 election may register now.
Every vote will count in our May 2021 general election.
In order to vote in the 2021 elections, you must register by the 4th of January. For more information, visit elections.ky or the elections office at Baytown Office Suites opposite the Wharf Restaurant.
Tune in tonight to Radio Cayman's 89.9 FM at 7 p.m. for a special National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving message, brought to you by the Ministers Association and combined with churches from the community.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us. It's so much fun you can have when you have, the company of good friends, the fellowship. We're only missing the food now and the Dominoes, but tour de force isn't bad, right? I'm honored to welcome our reps from RCIPS, National Drug Council, and Herders Media to join us as we talk about the Arrival at 345 campaign. Miss Bertie Phillips, together with PC Jordan Purry from the RCIPS, and from NDC, Delisa Hernandez and Simon Miller. I look at the laughter and the banter and the camaraderie, and hopefully, with all sincerity, you feel somewhat welcome in our studio and a semblance of hospitality and would want to return. Hopefully. But this is Christmas, and as everybody is saying, some in jest and some in seriously a sense of trepidation, this has been a difficult year. And sadly, they probably will partake of more libation than they ever have. Perhaps they will just for whatever reason. So let's get them to be responsible, even if they're at home and won't be venturing anywhere other than from their hammock to the sofa. But the bus, how is it going to be used? What is it going to cost? Where is it? When is it? Is it a big purple bus like a dinosaur? I mean, what is it looking like?
I would like that.
That's
Can we get that next
great
year?
idea.
Hurley's
Fantastic
Media?
idea.
I got purple wash if you need.
Let's write that down.
Susan will have some. Just put some purple wash on it and get it. All right.
This year, we're definitely ensuring that we've increased our buses. We had, I think it was 10 on Grand Cayman last year, and we've increased to 15 this year. So we're making sure that we have more so because of the fact that we do have to keep our riders safe. We're ensuring that we keep in mind, the safety when in the times that we're in this pandemic. We're ensuring that the buses will have people on them that will, have the personal protective equipment. That's a tongue twister. And just ensuring that for social distancing purposes as well, we increase those the buses. But again, they'll from East End to West Bay rather. Buses will be running. We do have ports in which they'll be dropping people off, terminals rather. In Georgetown, Grand Harbor, Camana Bay. The 7 Mile Beach, different places on the island, that people would usually go and then bring in the new year.
We had a question, and forgive me for not asking you beforehand. I won't try to read it verbatim. The gist of the question was, okay, I can take the bus from my final destination to home or thereabouts.
Not to home.
Okay.
Yes. Again, we would love for that to happen, but unfortunately, at the moment, we're not able to provide that service.
Okay.
I mean, if there is an opportunity where, you're the last person on the bus and the driver is going in that direction, and you ask the driver, I'm pretty sure the driver will be okay with it. It is a free service, the Purple Ribbon Bus, so but we still want you to make sure just be responsible.
So to get you around from one watering hole to the next as you move about, pretty much.
Yeah, Simon?
But this is really responsibility on our part,
Yes.
and on us for our friends and loved ones, right? So we're out together, stay together. And if last year you were the designated driver, maybe this year you want to be again, or maybe someone else. We tend to go out with the same people. We tend to add a few extra to our circle, but it's probably the same core. So let's make sure that 50 years from now, we can look back and say, man, you were not that afternoon, we were down, whoever it was, maybe Solly's, maybe Kelly's. You never can tell, right, Simon?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh,
and there will be buses down crossing Kelly's as well.
Yeah.
See?
I'm hearing there are a lot of people who are doing staycations as well, bringing in the new year. And if they want to also use the service and, hop from their hotel down to wherever in Georgetown, they can do that. Leave their car at the hotel and just, it's on the strip. You're still on the strip. And so the bus will ensure that if that's home for the night, you are getting home.
Yeah. From that then, PC Julian, the RCIPS, I'm sure we'll get an opportunity between now and end of the year to have some discussions relative to your enforcement for vigilance and the like.
Absolutely. So every year we do have our own safety campaign, and that is a part of our partnership with the NDC and Hurley's Media, where we try to get the message across as early as possible on as many avenues as possible. Earlier you asked a question about what works and what doesn't in terms of getting the message across, PSAs, radios, whatever the case may be. In my opinion, if you drink at whatever age you are, then the message is for you. And so I feel like every single avenue is important at any age range and every age range. And so that is what our aim is, to get that education across as early as possible, as much as possible, as frequently as possible, so that it's something that people cannot avoid. You cannot say that you didn't know that there will be an increased police presence on our roads throughout the month of December to try to mitigate the amount of DUIs that will be on the roads, and to ensure that we keep the roads as safe as possible, because there will be increased traffic on the road where people will be going out shopping and this, that, and the next thing. And then there will be an increased number of events, whether it be private events such as companies having Christmas parties, or just, families going out and enjoying whatever specials restaurants are putting on for the Christmas season, or public events that are also going to be increased, not just on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, but also throughout the month of December. And so we have to make sure that as a service, we adjust the way that we police to account for the increased presence of people on the road. And so we will be out in numbers. We will be doing high visibility patrols. We will be doing increased checkpoints, checking for to ensure that people, one, do not drink and drive, and two, also have insurance on their vehicles in the event that something happens, that you are covered.
So important.
Yes.
Responsibility again.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, we will, a part of our partnership with the NDC, with Hurley's Media, with you guys, and thank you again for having us and allowing us to get this message across.
Well, we've always welcomed our partnership. I mean, NDC
Absolutely.
regular fixtures to us, and the messaging is important, and I think the
Absolutely.
partnership with the media as well. So it's pretty from that perspective, though, as we look at the notion of messaging and consistency and the partnership amongst the media, so that all of our channels, we get a sense of community-spirited approach to being responsible, to still being sensible in our entertainment, but to recognize it, it's on us, right? Your efforts, I think, they reached us, so we've heard it. Tell us about some of the channels you're using and the messaging that you're using.
Yeah, I think we've kind of touched on a lot of the messaging, but one of the big ones is, from our perspective, is to make a plan. If you are going out drinking, make a plan and stick to that plan, commit to it. If you agree to be the designated driver, be the designated driver. If you organise a lift home, stick to taking that lift home. Yeah, we obviously at Hurley's, we have all of our radio stations that will be driving these messages, along with TV and cinema. and digital advertising, and of course social media as well. So we plan to get that message out to as many people as possible using those channels.
No, Simon, from that perspective, I'm thinking sort of we're out in the evening, maybe we had dinner, maybe we didn't. And there are all sorts of factors that will play into how the alcohol or other drug will impact our system. Sometimes we forget it. We think, well, in the past, that was no big deal. I could do this. But for some reason tonight, Jesus, it looks like... So our own sense of responsibility and awareness of where we are that evening, mentally, physical, and the like, will impact our consequences, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And to the point that was just made, don't wait until you're out there to start planning. Plan before. Yeah. It's just that simple. And I think all of us around the table, and we have a bunch of community partners, sponsors that is making all of this possible. We're putting our best foot forward to make sure that you have options available. But you have to take some responsibility yourself.
And then how then, as I look at the many establishments who probably, for the most part, try to be very responsible because they want their returning partners. They want to be seen as that place where, it's a safe, wonderful place to come out and celebrate. But then you go in with your plan, you stick to your plan, you don't leave, you don't come up with your friends and then abandon them. You make sure that you get everybody. What about the establishments? Without talking about legal liability and casting, unnecessary and undue responsibility, but what roles, if any, can they play in addition to giving out the non-alcoholic drinks to the designated drivers as identified? But are there things that they can do? I know the TIPS program was a part of the training initiative and the like.
Yeah, and I think just make sure that your patrons, the people that are coming there to patronize your business, whether you have a service or a product, make sure that they're aware of the Arrive Alive 345 options, whether it's the pledge, the designated driver, the Purple Ribbon Bus. Do your part too. And Ms. Jordan mentioned something earlier in regards to the number of Christmas parties that are usually planned. Make sure that you're incorporating some sort of safe ride home for your staff. At the end of the day, you want them to come back to work either tomorrow or the day after, right? So, make sure you're taking that responsibility. So, you coordinators out there of these Christmas parties, make sure you're incorporating some safe ride home.
All right.
I think it's important also to mention, Simon, that the staff encourages staff as well to take those opportunities, because I do know that there are quite a few businesses who do organize shuttles for their staff when they have Christmas parties, but it's also the staff's responsibility to make sure that they take up those opportunities that are presented to them as well.
Indeed. Again, back to the individual responsibility as well. Yeah. All right, so when we come up from the break, Mr. Hernandez, you can maybe give us a recap of some of the things. Maybe we can talk a little bit more about the route and the like.
Okay.
And I really appreciate you guys taking time out, spending this hour with us.
We love
very important.
Spending time with you and the listeners.
Oh, man. I'll tell you what, boy. If you had cassava cake now, you would be like my best friend.
Almost. Next time.
All right, let's pause and take a break. When we come back, more Talk Today.
Maintaining a strong mind and body through sports and general healthy living is a good course of action. But what about your spiritual man, your inner man? He has to be awakened, fed, exercised, strengthened, and led according to the will of God. So, have you heard the call? I'm Evangelist Brother Joseph Joey Ebanks, and I'm inviting you to worship Wednesday and Thursday nights at 7:30. We are bringing the Word of God to our communities as Jesus commanded. Faith comes by hearing, so come and hear. Bring your own chair or simply park and listen to the Word of God from your vehicle, covering the Cayman Islands with the Word of God, one community at a time.
Miracle Brokers International, your worldwide movers and freight forwarders, continues to work hard to improve their expertise to provide you with the first-class service you have come to expect. Now, together with Consolidated Freight Line, CFL, the specialist in logistical and global cargo solutions, customers can rely on an expanded team of moving professionals that gets the job done in a timely manner. Whether it's your prized possessions, full container loads, less than container loads, ro-ro cargo, or construction equipment, from door to port services, or across the oceans. From destinations such as the U.S., Canada, Asia, the Caribbean, Central and South America, among others. Miracle Brokers and CFL Combined Networks offers hundreds of expert connections that take the stress out of moving and shipping services. Call today for your free estimate, 949-5989. You can also log on to www.miraclebrokers.com. Miracle Brokers is located at the end of Kingbird Road, just past CUC. Miracle Brokers, the art of packing and moving, 949-5989.
King Sports Center takes pride in being more than just an ordinary gymnasium. For 14 years, their multi-purpose facility has been providing the community with a variety of sporting, recreational, and relaxation activities. King Sports Center has a bowling alley, lounge bar, multi-purpose rooms, powerhouse gym, rock climbing wall, bungee jumping, a 10,000 square foot rink, and so much more. For more information on the variety of services, call their friendly staff today at 946-5464 or email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
Your Radio Cayman 7 a.m. news, brought to you by Cayman National, proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974. Visit www.caymannational.com for up-to-date information for all your financial needs and follow us on social media.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And really grateful for the continued actions and initiatives and efforts on the part of all of us, collectively and individually, whether it's a corporate citizen or the individual who recognizing we have a serious sense of responsibility to enjoy ourselves, but to be safe, nurturing, and ensure that a society has that semblance of sobriety. So the Arrive Alive 345 campaign, the NDC partnership with the RCIPS, kicks off tomorrow, Mr. Lisa. Is that it?
Yes. Hurley's Media and the RCIPS and National Drug Council is so excited to kick off the Arrive Alive 345 campaign tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 1st, right? We're in December tomorrow. You can log on. I'll have Bridie give you a little bit more information on the pledge and where you can go and get your ribbons. But of course, I mentioned the Purple Ribbon Bus that will commence obviously on the 31st of December. And our buses will be running from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. as per usual. And again, we talked about earlier signage and the visibility of where you can pick that bus up. And Simon's going to talk about the route in just a bit too. But we're really excited to start off. Tomorrow in particular, our designated driver campaign is also kicking off with the restaurants. You can head out to the restaurants and just let them know that you are the designated driver, and they will, offer you non-alcoholic beverages during your time at their establishment. And when you go there as well, those restaurants will have all the information on, table cards at their restaurants. You'll see a really cool decal on their doors. So, in the bathrooms as well, just to remind you, there are options out there for you. And then, of course, the keyring. It's a very new addition to our collaboration this year. We're really excited, and it's so cute. When I saw it on Friday when we went to pick them up, it's just an additional addition for all of you out there. You're so used to getting the magnets in the cars, and we thought, let's make it a little bit more fun and something else to add to giving back to you, and for taking the responsibility for the year as well. So Bridie, you can give us a little bit more information on that.
So the Purple Ribbon magnets are back again this year. And by picking up a magnet and putting it on your car, you're showing your commitment to not drink driving this holiday season. So those Purple Ribbon magnets can be picked up at CG Brickay, Island Electronics, Blackbeards, Napa Auto and Truck Parts, Pestkill, the Security Centre, and Hurley's Media. And you can also jump online to the Hurley's Media website, which is hurleysmedia.ky, and sign the online pledge.
That's right. And of course, this campaign, obviously, it's a collective, situation, or a collective campaign where we're all ensuring that we put in the responsibility on our part to make sure that our community is, has these options. But of course, it could not be made possible without our sponsors here as well. Jake Scott's, Break K, Island Electronics, Kirk Motors, Napa, Petskill, Blackbeard Security Center Limited, Davenport, Doctors Hospital, CIBC First Caribbean, National Roads Authority, DART, Flex, CUC, Rubis, Starbucks, and CEL Beauty. And you can certainly log on to Hurley's Media's website as well as our website in the coming days and get more information on everything in regards to the campaign. But Simon, you could give us a little bit of information on the routes this year.
Sure. So the idea, Sterling, is that no matter where you are in the country, you should see a bus with a purple flashing light and decals with all of our lovely sponsors and a big purple banner and all that sort of stuff. That would be the bus that is available for you free of charge for that evening. So no matter where you are, outside any bus stop, any restaurant, any bar in the Cayman Islands, 20 to 25 minutes, you should see one of those buses coming by. So that's the whole idea. So those buses run strategic routes, and here are the routes that they are leaving from. But remember, they run that route all evening from 9 p.m. until 4 a.m. All right, so we have a bus that leaves Morgan's Harbor. We have buses that leaves Public Beach. We have buses that leaves Cayman Falls. We have buses that leave Coral Beach. We have buses that leave Georgetown Public Library, Cayman Bay, Kimpton, Grand Harbor. Buses that leave Northside Civic Center, and we have buses that leave Cayman, Rum Point, Caibo, around that area. And then in the sister islands, the same thing. We have buses that just run strategic routes for that entire evening, from 9 till 4.
I think this is where we as people need to, as we're sharing, plan our evening.
Yeah.
We probably already picked out our dresses. I mean, I got my hair appointment set already, so we know where we're going and our plans, right? So we're planning what we're doing. The friends we're going. Let's just make one other plan that is most significant. Make sure we get back home safely, and we can talk about what we did the night before, and look forward to doing it again, God's willing, come the next year. So you providing this resource. Let's use it effectively and wisely.
Yeah.
Right, Ms. Ananas?
Yes, and you know what? Last year, I think, Jody Ann, you can remind us, we saw 0 DUIs on the 31st of December, correct?
Yes, and I think 2 on the 1st of January. And even though those numbers are impressive, in the month of December last year, we had just under 300 accidents taking place throughout just the month of December alone. And so we definitely want to see a reduction in those. 79 persons were arrested last year, or just about 79, for road accident offenses. And of that, just under 80 number, just over 50 of them were for DUI. And so we definitely want to see a reduction in those numbers this year, because even though, again, I know, and Simon can probably talk a little bit about the numbers of the people who rode the buses on New Year's Eve, we definitely still have the entire December to be safe on the road and to ensure that we all arrive alive this December.
That's right.
And that's the thing, I mean, it's the month long, and probably for some reason that we're going to feel justified that, we're going to do something this time around. But let's do it so we can remember, and we can come in, if nothing else, boast and share, celebrate, however you want to say it. But we can do it because we're alive and still joyful, and those around us are happy because there's no incident or injury.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the numbers are there, the buses are available.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we'll make the maps and all that wonderful, lovely stuff available on our websites and social media. So all that will be launched tomorrow. So the public,
So well, the National Drug Council's website in and of itself is an invaluable resource, and that has directed us whether it's your annual or your biannual study of drug use amongst our youth in our schools alone should be indicative of the public policy that we should embrace. But that's for another time, Mr.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. All right. No, but in fairness to the rest of us who try, I think for the most part, to be somewhat sensible. Perhaps I can just ask of you two things. One, we still need to be mindful that we've out with our family and friends. We're not planning to consume a lot, but one drink may not be one drink. We got to think in terms of units, right? Yeah. To understand what that alcohol is doing to your body, even though you may have had something to eat or not have something to eat. So just to think that you may be within the limit, no drink at all would be the safest bet.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. And then, Ms. Brady, from that perspective, as we, look at the social media, as we listen to, I love radio in particular. So whether it's a radio channel of choice, we're going to hear this messaging very, very, very consistently.
Yeah, we hope so.
All right. That's the plan. I know we do it here, and we're glad they're doing it, because one person, a DUI, one person who has succumbed to an injury as a result of an accident is one too many.
Absolutely.
That's somebody's lives and families that are forever negatively affected.
Yes.
So it's challenging.
So it's important that everyone takes the responsibility to do what they have to do to ensure that we do arrive alive.
Indeed.
That's right.
Well, you have your work cut out for you, PC Julianne.
Absolutely, but we do look forward to ensuring that the roads are safe this coming holidays, and we want to encourage everybody, if you are participating in the designated driver campaign, if you are taking the Purple Ribbon Bus, let's make it a cultural change. Yes. And let's make it cool, and use the hashtag ArriveAlive345 and Stay Safe Cayman hashtag, and so that we can see and have a record of it going forward.
Indeed. Yeah. And final thoughts, Ms. Bradley, from you first, and then Mr. Salmon. What final thoughts would you like to leave for our listeners today, Ms. Rose?
I think just I hope the community gets behind this important campaign, and you can show that you're supporting by signing the online pledge. It's quite simple.
Yeah, thanks. Mr. Miller.
And we know that the public is listening, because just last year we had over 3,000 riders, and over 45 in the BRAC. So they're listening. So we want to double that number this year. That's the challenge. That's the challenge, Cayman. We can do it. Leave our cars at home. Let's take the bus. Thanks to all of these wonderful sponsors that makes this happen year after year. Let's bring in 2021 in a safe manner.
Yeah. Yeah. And as we mentioned earlier, we've increased the buses for social distancing purposes. We will have the protective precautions rather to ensure that the buses are cleaned well every time people come off and on, and families can ride it, not just people who are out there having a great time overindulging, if hopefully not, but the bus is there for everybody, Cayman. So please, just for those who are those revelers or whatever that go to carnival and that kind of type of thing, if you've been traveled overseas, you know that these are also available in huge events, in the UK and Canada and different places in the Caribbean. And this is a time that we now make this, like Jodianne said, a part of our culture and utilize that. They're taking safety precautions for all of their patrons, and we want to make sure that you do the same thing, and take advantage of these buses and the pledges, throughout this month.
All right. Well, thank you all very much. And between now and the end of the year, at any point we can do more to help continue the messaging, by all means. And I trust that the individual responsibility will take up on our part. Yep. I invite you to have a wonderful afternoon, but a very safe and productive rest of the week. All right, to our listeners, Miss Susan will sing a song between now and the news. No, she's not. The news, just check and see anybody listening. Join us after the news break. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have here on the island.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Travel Cayman Mobile Compliance Team, in conjunction with Public Health, has started contact tracing after an alleged breach of isolation protocols by a traveler quarantining at Residence Sunday. Police say the traveler has been relocated to a government-sponsored facility and will be monitored under 24-hour security detail at the traveler's expense. This matter is under heavy investigation, and a completed file will be sent to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution for a decision. The traveler in question tested negative on a COVID-19 test on arrival, but had not yet completed their mandatory 14-day isolation period. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, opposition group used a remote control weapon to shoot dead top nuclear scientist Mohsen Fakhrizadeh on Friday. The security chief said the attackers had used electronic equipment when Fakhrizadeh's car was fired on east of the capital, Tehran. He was speaking at the funeral of the scientist Israel accused of secretly helping to develop nuclear weapons. And U.S. President-elect Joe Biden has fractured his foot while playing with one of his dogs, his doctors have said. 78-year-old Mr. Biden twisted his ankle on Saturday when he slipped while with Major, one of his 2 German shepherds. The Democrat visited an orthopedist in Newark, Delaware, a day later out of an abundance of caution. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
your voice, your choice, your radio.
This is how we wake you up in the morning. Praise time on Radio Cayman.
Are you ready? Here we go. Set. I feel like running, skipping, running. Feel like skipping.
Praise time.
Jesus in the morning. I will. So send me, Lord. I will go.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can you hear me now? Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for listening and sharing and recognizing that we have a wonderful community. A lot of spirit of giving and thanksgiving, a lot of childhood endeavors, and a lot of us who share as much as we can. Honored now to continue that community partnership as we join the president of Rotary Central. The weekend was good for many, better for some. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm so happy to be here after a wonderful, wonderful music extravaganza on Saturday night. We had such an amazing time. The music was phenomenal, live music. People got up and they danced. And I am so thrilled with the support from the community, because this event, sure, it's a fun event, but it really is a main fundraiser for us to acquire the funds that we need to do the real work in this local community. And every dollar that we got through the support of this community went back 100% to this community.
I think that's the thing. We see the support, but we also see the return to the community through the financial, but also the physical contributions of your members as well. And I guess the event on Saturday gave people a chance to relax and to be reminded of this beautiful place in which we live. So, from what I understand, and I heard from those who attended, they had fun.
They had fun. I had fun. If you were there, you would see me. I had a Rotary Central shirt on that had Rotarian at Work in the back of it, and I was in the middle of the dance floor for half of the night. Somebody actually came up to me and said, "Madam President, thank you so much for organizing this. This was incredible." And I can't really take the credit for organizing because, as you know, we have a team at Rotary Central led by Rotarian Richard Lewis, who was the chair of this event. He did a stellar job, and I want to thank him. But more importantly, because this is the work that we signed up to do, I do want to thank the community. Without you, without your support, we could not have done this. We could not have done it without persons who've purchased tickets, persons who've sold tickets on our behalf, persons who've attended the event, persons who've organized the drop-off and pick-up of certain prizes and tickets, persons who allowed for their spaces to be used for us to do certain things like counting, making sure all the tickets are in the barrel. The establishment itself, Salties, and all of the storefronts in Grand Harbor who allowed us to use their space. The bands, I have to talk about the bands. Let me tell you, I danced my new hairstyle all the way out that night. Don't laugh, because it was true. We had
pictures to prove what she says.
We have pictures to prove it. We have pictures to prove it for sure. So, it was a great, great evening. And if you weren't there, you missed it. But if you did support us, we thank you. I do want to shout out the bands because specifically Swanky, oh yeah, they were rocking. We had Regeneration, C&B, and let me tell you, by the end of the night, they didn't care about how they looked, what they were doing. They just got up, they danced, and they had a good time. And people stayed until very, 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 very late. So we had a great time.
As I listen to you, this reminds us of how, we can, even in our service, still fellowship and have a great evening. And for those who, either because they sold they've been a ticket and got a prize, or those who may have won one of the minor prizes, whether the grand prize or otherwise. But the fact that they're contributing to the wider community efforts, to tangible things that we can see. That's one of the things I like with the service clubs. We can see the impact that they're having, whether it's in our schools, whether it's in the wider community, or whether it's through education initiatives, or some, other physical, tangible thing of helping someone around the home. Too much is given, much is required. We should not, fail to remember that.
Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head. And as I said before, your support of a ticket purchase, sure, it entered you to win the grand prize of $40,000, and someone did win that night, as we promised. But what it really did, it was an investment into your community. Because every dollar, as I said before, every dollar that we've collected through ticket sales goes towards Cayman through many projects. Now, I'll list a few of them. We have the National Blood Bank support, the community bus shelters, literacy projects. We have children education services. We have the science fair that we put on every year. We have health initiatives. As you know, we do an annual nationwide health screening. And in that project, we've actually saved lives. We've sent people immediately to the emergency room who would have otherwise not made it. We support junior achievement. We've given computers to certain students, especially this year when students had to be at home during quarantine. The disability projects that we have through the Moby Mat, which is that mat that allows people with wheelchair access to the beaches. We also have a road safety campaigns, Share the Road. the Not Your Spot campaign, which really brings awareness to people parking in disabled parking spots. We do community cleanups. And as you mentioned before, persons in the community, who require assistance, we assist them in many ways. And some of those things I can't really, call out because we're not in the business of raising a flag every time we do something good for someone in the community, because that is our work. Mm-hmm. That is what we're here to do. But I do want you to know some of those major projects, that is where your money is going. And some of them you can ride in your car, pass them, touch them, because you're right, they're physical, tangible projects.
I think this is where the strength of the community is evident. And I think, those of us, whether it's our own endeavors or as that of our friends and family, we see them not only attending meetings with deference to you, whether it's Rotary, Kiwanis, or Lions, or they attend these things for the fellowship and camaraderie, but because they want to make a meaningful contribution in our community. For those of us, for whatever reason, aren't members, we buy the raffle tickets. Yes, we may win a prize, but we support. Maybe we come out in some other endeavor, and it allows us to see what the community is about and how we can impact it in a very, very meaningful way. So it's very, very crucial.
It's very crucial, and for that reason, we are sure to print some of the projects on the back of the ticket so that after you've paid your $25 and you walk away with your ticket, mm-hmm. you can actually see this is where my contribution went. Mm-hmm. You know exactly where it went. You can call it by name. You can read it off of the ticket. And that is so important. And one point I also want to make, in addition to the local community, an investment for the good is always an investment for yourself as well. Yeah, I tell a story. I remember a couple of years back, I was parked at one of the supermarkets, and could you believe somebody hit my car and ran off? I went to one of the auto mechanic shops to see how much it would cost to fix it. It was a small scratch, but it was deep, and so they charged me about $1,500 CI dollars for a scratch. So I said, you know what, I'll just drive it with the scratch, no problem. A couple of days later, I did donate to, I can't remember exactly the project, but I did donate with a good heart towards a project that Rotary put on. And 2 days later, on my way home from work, somebody hit my car on the same side of the original scratch. And when they saw it, they said, "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, ma'am. I didn't mean to do this. What I will do for you is I will fix the entire car for you. And also here, take this rental car to drive while you wait on your car being fixed at zero cost to me."
Good follows good, yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to say. Good always follows good. You will always get it back. It is an investment into Rotary. It is an investment into your local community, but it's also an investment into the goodwill that will come back to you.
Yeah, man. And I thank you for sharing that, because I think sometimes we hear these things, and sadly, I think sometimes in the media, this is a human interest story. This is a feel-good thing. We highlight the negative. We get caught up in the sensationalism. But as people, perhaps that's how we feel. So when I get a chance to hear the good, and to celebrate and share and to somehow draw attention, because in this community a lot of good, as you shared, happens, and nobody knows about it. There's no flags being raised, no banners, just like trouble don't blow shell. We don't need to celebrate every time something happens, but we need to be mindful.
Yes.
So with that though, what was do we pause for the short break? When we come back, Madam President, maybe share with us some more, and maybe we ask of you, what are some of the most interesting things of the preparations for the music extravaganza? We know it's a lot of work. You have a phenomenal fundraising team, yes, but you also have projects. So share with us maybe some of the highlights of the night in particular. There was much rain, but there was a lot of sweating and dancing. Right? We're going to pause and take a break, and when we come back, more talk today.
You know you've dreamed of that Mercedes. The smooth leather, the style. Ooh la la! With the Lions Club of Grand Cayman Benzarama. Now is your chance to make that dream come through. Get your ticket for the Benzarama fundraiser at Lorna's Gas Station in Bodden Town, West Bay Esso, Funky Tangs, Reflections, and South Coast Bar and Grill. As well at Event Pro. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman Benzarama fundraiser supports site screening, Christmas deliveries, restoration, and social services.
The Benzarama drawing will take place December 5th. All Benzarama tickets bought earlier this year are still valid.
Stronger, wider, higher, lighter. The all-new Ford Ranger Raptor. Powerfully built with a 2.0 diesel Panther engine and 210 horsepower. Modern with leather interior and 8-inch touchscreen, Sync 3 technology and power features. Tough, built to handle the off-road with 4-wheel drive, terrain modes, and 10-speed automatic transmission. Coming early October to Vamped Motors, Walkers Road. To find out more and to test drive the bold new Ford Ranger Raptor, visit Vamped Motors, Walkers Road, or call 949-8288.
Hey, I'm so glad you can make it this weekend.
Of course. Wow, this place is amazing. How did you find this?
I found it on Experience Cayman. They have so many staycation ideas.
I'll check it out, but for now, let's hit that pool.
Experience Cayman is a celebration of everything local. To rediscover all the best things to see and do in the Cayman Islands, visit gov.ky/Experience Cayman and follow Experience Cayman on Facebook and Instagram. Brought to you by the Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks Sue for the opportunity to help Rotary Central celebrate, another successful music extravaganza. I should have, let me ask now, because this is, if I did my calculations right, this is the 100th year, right, of the music extravaganza. Robbie would say almost. You've been doing it for a while.
We've been doing it for 25 years. It's our 25th anniversary.
Yep, the silver. And it's something that I think from that very first one to the one Saturday, we've seen a community continued participation. But it probably doesn't get any easier in a sense. Still a lot of work.
It is an all hands on deck, months in advance type of project. It really takes a village for us to put this on. Mm-hmm. And in the beginning of the interview, I started to thank our team who put this on, led by past President Richard. But it has been countless Rotarians in the club who have planned and also sold and managed the selling of tickets. So all hands on deck. But I do want to focus my effort today on thanking the support of persons in the community, because yes, Rotarians do the bulk of the work of planning the event. There is, calls to be made. There's planning meetings. We have to figure out the prizes for the sellers. As you know, sellers who sell for us get a chance to be entered into a drawing to win prizes, because we want to say thank you for selling for us. And this is outside of the seller's prize, which is the prize that people win, the 10% of the winnings of the winning prize. This is outside of this. So we have a lot going on, but what is critical is we want to thank you, the community, the use of your establishments, the use of your space for us to do our behind-the-scenes work, counting tickets, making sure every dollar is accounted for, making sure everybody's name is legible, readable, so that we can call the right winner, making sure that persons who want to sell tickets had a space and an avenue to sit either outside of the supermarket or outside of A.L. Thompson or wherever to actually sell those tickets. It is, yes, a Rotary project. However, we have partners in the community who, without them, including the bands, we could not have made this possible. So this is an all hands on deck community project.
So crucial. This is where it shows if we do it together, we can have a better outcome. With that in mind, it's something especially during this particular year where things have been a little bit different.
A lot different.
Just a little. But no, I'm glad it still was a resounding success.
It was a resounding success. Resounding. The support from this community has been, I was so humbled when we saw the revenue numbers come in of how much people bought 2 and 3 and 4 tickets to support this community. And, our fundraising efforts are so important this year because this year, as you said, has been quite a different year. The needs of the community are great. And to see that people are willing to support, even in a difficult year, that was very, very humbling to me.
That shows the spirit and the heart this community has. And it touches me each time to know that we have people who give and they ask for nothing in return.
Nothing in return.
They give not because they have a whole lot to give, but they give from a very, very special place in their heart. And there's an appreciation. You can feel it when you receive something like that from someone. They have billions, or they may be just scrubbing together the pennies that they have, but they're giving it to you, and they want you to use it in a very positive way. And I'm glad that your efforts have yielded such good fruit.
Yes, I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased. I really was concerned this year, but this year we have met and exceeded every expectation. And like I keep saying, it's not because of me. It's not only because of the Rotary team. It's because of this community.
Yeah, I think through your initiative to allow the sellers to be thanked in and of themselves, not just the seller's prize, but the little giftings that they receive for participating, the community support there from the businesses in terms of their support, I think has allowed that level of buy-in.
I think so. I think, the genius of Music Extravaganza is it is a fundraiser on two ends.
Mm-hmm.
We as a club were able to raise the funds that we need to inject in the community. And at the same time, we found a way to ensure that the community itself, through the support of this project, themselves are able to earn some income. As you know, our sellers, we pay them a 10% commission just for selling. Like I said just a couple of minutes ago, even though you've gotten your 10% commission, it doesn't stop there. Your name is then also entered into a raffle drawing, and you can win many different prizes. And it goes a step further. If you happen to sell the winning ticket, then you also get 10% commission of the winning. So we ensure that this community, they get something back from it. And I think it's because of that, because we want to benefit you, that people buy in.
That motivation and incentive that people have in and of itself, it's very inherent in the way you structured the whole. But then the community sees too that, okay, I may win, but I also can see that there's a greater win, because this small amount, whether you bought one ticket or you bought 100, it's going here for this particular, initiative. And it helps.
Exactly.
And your winners, whether it's the grand prize or whether it's the other prizes, they have some little thing extra, that takes them through the Christmas or into next year.
Oh, yeah. And again, another genius of Music Extravaganza, when we position this in terms of our date, we make sure that it's right before the last Saturday before December. So you have, either as a seller, you have your commission money to go and, enjoy your Christmas. As the winner, you have your money to go enjoy your Christmas. The seller's prizes, you can use those gift certificates for Christmas. So we ensure that everything was geniusly placed so that everybody can have the optimal benefit from this. But I do want to speak about the winners, though.
Yeah.
Another thing, too, about the Music Extravaganza that I love is that there's not just one winner. Sure, there's one person who won the $40,000, but we also have an additional 7 prizes. Could you believe it? 7 additional prizes. So we had a winner of a $4,000 prize. We had 6 individual winners of $1,000 prizes. And just for the information of those winners out there listening today, we will, when I say we, I'm speaking about myself. As president, I will be giving you a call to discuss the logistics of when and how you can come to collect your prize. That is the winner of the prizes as well as the sellers of the winners of the prizes. Because like I said, we also give them a 10% commission of that. It will be sometime this week, so expect a call from me this evening. So it's about 8 persons I would have to be contacting tonight. So 8 persons got the benefit of a cash prize, and an additional 8 persons who sold those winning tickets get a cash prize.
You know what they say, one hand, what is it, they're a little bit helps. So hand in hand, we make a difference. With that, though, as you plan your activities for the rest of the year and looking into not just the remainder of your term, but the calendar year that lies ahead, there is opportunity for the community to join one of the Rotary clubs, whether Rotary Central or other. There is opportunity for the wider community, corporate or individual, to continue that partnership, support your projects and initiatives, to draw on board and find other ways. If people wanted more information on Rotary, what would be the best way? Just reach out to any Rotarian?
Well, you can always reach out to any Rotarian. They're all throughout the community. But you can also go directly to our website at rotarycentral.ky. We also have a very, very robust social media presence. You can look for us on LinkedIn. You can look for us on Instagram and Facebook at Rotary Central. And you will find all of the updates from Music Extravaganza, pictures from the event itself, the list of all the winners and their ticket numbers as well if you need more information on Music X.
All right. Well, I think as I look at this initiative, I look at your sort of fellows in service at the Lions and the like, I have to take my hats off to your continued, uncompromising dedication collectively to our community. It's amazing. Anybody who's volunteered or been a part of it knows that it's a lot of work, but then it's a lot of reward as well.
It's a lot of reward.
Lasting friendships. I think that some of the guys, from whether they were charter members or whether they joined, only a few years ago, they have these bonds that transcend anything that you've seen. So it's another reason to join and be a part of it.
Yes. Like you said, it's not just the good work, it's the fellowship and it's the bonds that we build.
Well, I appreciate it. And I thank, as you said, the wider community for not just buying tickets, but being supportive in many ways, from the prizes to just the physical spaces to support. But for a community that recognizes that together, if we work hand in hand, we're going to make it much better, right?
Definitely.
What else, as we close our discussion, would you like to leave with our listeners today, Madam President?
The only thing I can say, thank you, Cayman, for a successful 25th annual Music Extravaganza. Every one of you who've supported the bands, the venues, the ticket buyers, the ticket sellers, the ticket prize providers, the space providers to sell tickets, persons who've stopped on the side of the road, people who have asked questions, people who have donated without purchasing a ticket, people who have asked questions about Rotary, people who have provided advice and suggestions on how we go about doing things in this community. To all of you, I say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Rotary Central, thanks you. You have done an amazing work this year. We have blown records this year. And know that your community, not anyone else's community, but your community will benefit 100% from this. I thank you so much. I'm so humbled by your generosity this year.
I can't say it often enough. Too much is given, much is required.
Yes.
And we see, the differences, sometimes the discord and the dissension and division that may occur throughout communities. But we look to this one and see a sense of unity, and this is our community, and we continue to work hand in hand. We'll appreciate the blessings, we'll appreciate the favor, and we'll appreciate that it comes with a healthy sense of responsibility individually to make it that great place that it is.
Yes.
So thank you very much. If I get to see you, I hope, and your fellow Rotarians, some of whom I call as friends, hopefully they're still the same. Wish you a very blessed and Merry Christmas, but we started now. Let's start it off.
Yeah, let's start it.
What? Every day, should be Christmas. So.
It should. Thanksgiving's gone now, so we could definitely get to Christmas.
That was just a warm up for the food to come.
That was all it was.
No, but thank you all. And there is a lot, of service and sacrifice. There's a significant commitment, and we see it. And for those of us who stand on the sidelines, we applaud you for the work, because you do this, but you also have all the other commitments and obligations that come with being a member of society.
Yes.
So very, very commendable.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. To our listeners, let's make this place as best as we can. Thank you for welcoming me back. Thank you for joining us again tomorrow for more Talk Today. Ms. Susan is going to close us up with some excellent music. You can make a request like you did on Saturday and you'll hear good songs. You can just listen as you did on Saturday and you'll hear all good music. To me, it's only one station of choice, and that's Radio Cayman. Until tomorrow, be blessed.